Welcome to Tips and Tricks with Curve4. This is Pat Herold of Chromix with some ideas for how you can make the most of Curve4 software. This one's called, What Can Blend Really Do For Me? In the previous videos, I explained the basics of how the different features of the blend tool work. Now that you know what it can do, here are some practical examples of how you can use this in real-life situations. Blend can be used to do many little time-saving functions. Identifying subsets of targets. In my Curve4 video on color lists, I talk a lot about how to use this to create full charts of any kind of target you want. Well, you can also use this the other way around. With regenerate off, I can see if the patches in the larger file already contain other defined charts. I've already taught Curve4 some of my favorite targets to look for. If some software is wanting you to print a scrambled target, wouldn't you like to know what important sets of patches it contains or doesn't contain? Or I have a profiling target I use for making profiles, and I have a control wedge that I use for daily checks and things. Are the patches of my control strip contained in the larger target? I know they don't have to be, but sometimes it's nice to get a little extra assurance if it is. Or is a P2P target contained in the larger target? Or somebody's handing me P2P measurements. I don't know if this is a P2P 51 or the older P2P 25 or the new P2P 53. You can find out instantly. Just using this to double check a target or track down where something's going wrong is invaluable. Blend does this by looking at the CMYK values in the file. It doesn't matter what order they are in. It's easy and it's really fast. Just recently, a major printer manufacturer was supplying their customers with a target for a Curve. A customer called up to complain that Curve wasn't accepting their TC1617 measurements. Turns out the chart arrangement was not a true TC1617, but had patches from an older P2P. So this feature can be used a lot. Okay, here's my plug for averaging. You really need to average your measurements if you're making a press profile, for example. The press has variations throughout the run, so you want that behavior sampled and averaged in an intelligent way. Choose weighted averaging, and when you export these into a single exported measurement file, the outliers will have less weight, so a bad measurement won't throw the average off. Then you make your press profile from this averaged measurement. Use this for any printer that tends to vary as it runs, either through the run like a traditional offset or across the sheet like some digital presses. A single sample is not going to give you an accurate picture of your overall printing behavior. You really need to average. That's why Curve4 does averaging in all of the modules without you even having to turn it on. It just does. All that's left for you to do is feed it with more samples. So please take advantage of this. Other ideas, somebody on a forum somewhere says target A makes the best profiles. Somebody I heard at a talk somewhere says target B makes the best profiles. Heck, I can bring them into Blend and use both. Export this entire list and make a profiling target from it. Or combine them and then remove duplicates. When I remove the duplicates, I might find that there are only 100 or so patches that they share. So I find that these patch sets are quite different. If removing duplicates made this number go way down, then that would tell me something else about these two targets. Now suddenly I'm a little smarter about why certain targets are better than others. Oh, remap white. One of our consultants was at a customer site, and the customer had someone come in years ago and set things up to look right originally, but now the printer has to change the paper they were using, and now their proofs are failing. The original profile was good for years until they just changed the paper. The only thing changed was the paper. Kind of seems a shame to pay to have someone come out and reprofile everything just because of the new paper. Here's where you can use the remap white feature, which uses the substrate corrected colorimetric aims feature. Now, the original consultant who Who knows what software he used to build that profile? Maybe Monaco Profiler, which does not give you access to the measurement data that was used to build it. Well, so how can you rebuild that profile with a new white point? Blend can take the device profile, it doesn't matter what software made the profile, just drop this into the measurements area and it'll basically create a virtual TC1617 target from the profile. Then you can alter the white point of this virtual measurement, choose a pivot point, save it out as a TC1617, or if you use regenerate, you can choose another kind of profiling target. Your white point is corrected. You can export in MXF, CXF, or text format. Build your new profile and you've solved your problem of the new paper. Here's another scenario. I was talking to someone who said that the profiling module of his RIP will only take an IT8 as an input target. But somebody gave him a press sheet that had other targets on it. Or maybe you're in a situation where your measuring instrument can't do the IT8 but can do other targets. How can you make these into an IT8 so you can import it into your profiling software? Well, here you go. Measure them into the blend tool. If you have several, you can combine them here. Use regenerate if you need to fill in the patches needed for the IT8. Save your file. Man, I'm trying to keep this video short, and these are just a few of the ways you can use this. Well, let me know what other ideas you come up with, and then maybe we can use them for a future video. Thanks for watching.